Dear folks, technology is reshaping industries across the board, and healthcare is no exception.
So the main way in which we help ER systems is really by a combination of education and inserting ourselves into the triage process at each hospital.
In today's time, in today's digital era, it's the need of the hour to, use AI in your business. And if you're not doing it, you're lacking behind in some way, right?
We keep adding clinics to our AI-based solution that allows people to find them a bit better.
Hello and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Kripa Anand, and today we're diving into a revolutionary discussion on healthcare innovation and the transformative power of AI in small businesses. From reshaping access to care to optimizing resources for better outcomes, this episode is packed with insights for change makers and innovators. Our guest today, Thomas Jankowski, is a trailblazer in digital marketing and entrepreneurship. With extensive experience across fintech, media, and technology, Thomas has founded four startups and worked with Fortune 500 companies, always keeping a keen eye on innovation and scalability. Now at Medimap, Thomas is driving impactful solutions to expand healthcare access for Canadians using cutting edge AI and strategic partnerships with AWS and NVIDIA. Join us as Thomas shares his journey and vision for transforming healthcare with AI. Stay tuned to uncover how Medimap is making a difference in the lives of millions. Thomas, welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Krupa.
Of course, the pleasure is all ours. Now, to begin the conversation, healthcare access, it's a growing challenge, especially for those in rural or underserved areas. Medimap has positioned itself in a game changer, and it's addressing the issues. And kudos to you guys for that, first of all. Uh, how many people are currently using Medimap, and how is there a cost associated with accessing these services?
Good question. So this year we actually crossed the 13 million mark.
Wow.
So pretty much 1 in 3 Canadians has used Medimap at some point, which is really, really exciting.
Right.
In terms of a cost, most of our services are free for patients. It's usually doctors and clinics that incur a fairly small cost. We did launch one patient doctor matching program just recently that does have the option of a paid service as well. But we'll talk about that a bit in a bit.
Definitely. Now, I'm sure everyone knows about Medimap, but for all the new listeners who are not aware about that, could you just walk us through what is Medimap and how is the platform, how does it work, and how is it helping Canadians transform their lives, and how can they access it?
For sure. So Medimap is a bit of a search engine and a transaction engine. So it's almost like Google meets Uber. It's a place to find and book all of your healthcare needs. We started initially in the walk-in clinic space some years ago, which was interesting, but now we've grown to providing services for family doctors, for ER systems, for entire hospitals, and this year also nurses and pharmacists. So really, whatever your need may be, you really have to just go to Medimap, and it's usually a 30-second search away.
Wow, so everything under one roof, right?
That's right.
Dear folks, technology is reshaping industries across the board, and healthcare is no exception. Stay with us as we uncover the innovative strategies that are setting new benchmarks in healthcare accessibility. Now, let's explore, and I was just coming to the ER wait times. Now, let's explore how Medimap is addressing one of Canada's most pressing issues, and that is the ER wait time. Now, emergency rooms nationwide, they face immense pressures with wait times skyrocketing due to the growing demand for urgent care, right? One of Medimap's goal is to reduce ER wait times. Can you just explain how your platform is helping achieve this?
For sure. So the main way in which we help ER systems is really by a combination of education and inserting ourselves into the triage process at each hospital. The problem in Canada is that people still default to going to the ER when something's wrong with them,
Right.
which is very different from how it works in different countries.
Right.
And oftentimes they will go to the ER because that's the only thing they know. I sprained my hand, I must go to the ER.
Right.
Sometimes nowadays it is also because they don't have any other option, but that's a different problem to handle. So if I have a hand sprain and I decide to go to ER, my job within Medimap is to move them away from that behavior, which we do.
Them.
Exactly.
Right.
So we do it in a couple of different ways. One is we try to educate. Don't just go to ER. It's usually the worst possible solution for you unless you have an acute problem. You have a heart attack, you have a stroke. Okay, of course, right? But for everything else, look for other options. And on medimap.ca and on our partner website that we work with, we combine our solutions to tell them where to go to get the care they need, a lot of the times much faster. And we also do it at a triage level. So maybe you've already walked into an ER, you're speaking to the nurse, and they identify you as a low acuity patient.
Right.
So now you have the option. Would you like to wait 30 hours in a room full of coughing sick people?
Right.
Or would you rather look that there's a clinic open 10 minutes away where you can be seen in half an hour? It's a win for the patient. It's a win for the overburdened hospital staff.
Right.
And it's a win for the healthcare system because a typical visit at an ER will cost the system $300. If you go to a clinic, it's $30. So if we can save the system a lot of money, they can hire doctors and make healthcare better for everyone again.
Right. I really want to ask you, what do you think is the human psyche behind this? Why does everyone just want to go to the ER at every small problem?
We default to convenience.
Right.
Most of the time, right?
Right.
When presenting people with better options that require complexity, they're like, no, just give me something easy, right?
Right.
And it's just the way people have been brought up, which worked for a long time, right? Like in the 70s and 80s, you could just go to a hospital system and be seen in a couple of minutes. But now, ever since really the end of pandemic, we have doctors retiring in record numbers. We have walk-ins closing all over the country.
Right.
And we have a population that's getting older and older.
Right.
So the old solution simply doesn't work anymore, and just defaulting to going to ER. I mean, right now we have ER systems that are closing across the country. ERs that are just closing doors for the week and saying we can't receive patients. It's crazy.
Right, wow. And your approach, it's very interesting and very transformative. Now, let's talk about the buzzword AI, right? It's taking over every industry, every field. Could you share how Medimap's AI-driven insights contribute to these improvements, and what does this mean for healthcare providers as well?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
I think there's a number of different things. So one is, in terms of insights, there's so much we are learning every day. Even our ER triage system, we've only learned that it makes sense to route people away when we started actually observing people's patterns. They would come to Medimap, look for something like I mentioned, hand sprain,
Right.
and then they would look for where's the nearest ER. We're like, what? Wait, it doesn't make sense,
Right.
Now we start doing this at scale. Training our systems on what people are searching for,
Right.
and figuring out that there are these systemic inefficiencies that we can help make better. So that's one quick learning. Another quick learning is that once again, people think that the only solution to a healthcare problem in Canada is going and speaking to a doctor.
Right.
Well, for the past few years, most of the provinces have been actually expanding their scope of practice for pharmacists, for example. So now Canadian pharmacists in different provinces can solve a lot of things.
Right.
If I have a pink eye, I don't have to go to ER, God forbid. I don't even have to go and see my family doctor, which might take me 2 weeks. I can actually go to a pharmacist, have zero wait time, while the pharmacist takes this work away from a doctor, which is too busy to see you anyways.
Right.
And we are learning all of this by looking at these patterns at scale, by training our own systems on this. And one of the systems we actually put in also in front of the ERs to help them is an AI-based symptom checker. So you can go to Medimap, basically put in a bunch of your symptoms. It will ask you your age, your gender, etc., to try to come up with sort of like it's not quite a full-fledged diagnosis. We're not replacing doctors. Right. But it gives you this guidance. And if you were thinking, for example, and we ask you this question, what were you thinking of doing? Oh, I was thinking of going to ER. Well, after you've gone through our symptom checker, what are you thinking of doing now? Oh, I will just go and see my family doctor.
It simplifies it for you.
Exactly.
Right?
So if we can suggest a solution that is a lower mode of care, which once again is cheaper for the system and a win for everyone,
Right.
I mean, that's it, right?
Wow.
So I think you're asking also what this means for providers. I mean, for them, once they get used to AI being part of the solution, and I keep harping on this, it's part of the solution. It is not a replacement to every single problem.
Right.
It's part of it. But get used to it. Start thinking about how to employ it, how to integrate it into your workflow. And there are amazing benefits to be seen out of this for sure.
Right, and I think in today's time, in today's digital era, it's the need of the hour to, use AI in your business. And if you're not doing it, you're lacking behind in some way, right?
100%.
To our listeners, small businesses like Medimap are the backbone of innovation in Canada. Their solutions demonstrate how impactful local ideas can have a global resonance. Let's continue supporting these ventures. Next, now we'll discuss the groundbreaking partnership with AWS and NVIDIA and what it means for Canada's healthcare landscape. Right, so partnership, it often amplifies the potential of innovative solutions, and Medimap's collaboration with AWS and NVIDIA is a testament to this principle, right? Can you tell us about how this partnership began and what's the vision like?
For sure. So the partnership with AWS is sort of an extension to some small degree of our ongoing work with them pretty much since we got created in 2019. However, to actually have gotten into the AWS Health Equity was a very robust process that required a lot of vetting, checking what we're trying to do. And they were really interested by the fact that, we're trying to serve fundamentally this underserved population. A lot of Canada is rural. A lot of Canada is Indigenous. There's very few platforms that are trying to help them in any shape or form. They're usually the forgotten, unwanted child at the end. So they were quite interested in what we're doing there. And when we finally heard that we're the only healthcare player in Canada that won this grant, we were just, beyond ourselves. And we think it's going to really help. So the AWS Health Equity Grant is specifically going to help with expanding our services even more into these rural areas. Right now, we're oftentimes the only player in town, but this is going to help us push us further. And I really, really wish that this will be the year where we start working with Indigenous communities across the country. On the NVIDIA side, the partnership is a lot more technical in nature. And it's going to help us train things a lot faster. So right now, for example, we keep adding clinics to our AI-based solution that allows people to find them a bit better at a pace of about 100 a month.
Right.
We think that with the help of this tool, we can 10x it. We can start adding about 1,000 clinics a month to our actual backend to make things a bit more findable. And to also start using our own chatbot that's going to be purely trained on our own data, as opposed to borrowing someone else's and just adding a bit of the core on top of it, if you will.
Wow, I think all of this sounds very powerful, and this collaboration is also very powerful. And soon we'll see the results unfold, right? Stay tuned as we delve into the role of AI in healthcare, exploring its transformative potential in connecting patients and providers seamlessly.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. Still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep, healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah, well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep, that's all us. That's all UPS.
Four billion people check their email every day. That's 4 billion missed opportunities if your message doesn't make it. To reach your customer's inbox, you need a winning strategy. And Constant Contact delivers. Literally, over 97% deliverability. Elevate your email game with easy-to-use templates, writing assistants powered by AI, and in-depth metrics. Ensuring your email is flawless, delivered, and read. Constant Contact delivers. Give it a try.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, we're in the business of you.
We're here to help you plug in,
connect, and recharge.
Make an impression,
and meet with confidence.
With 19 brands built for business,
your business gets even more rewarding.
With an award-winning loyalty program at 6,000 IHG hotels and resorts worldwide.
We'll uncover how AI enables smarter, faster, and more inclusive healthcare solutions. And now let's move forward. What advice would you give to all the young entrepreneurs who are listening to you, all the small business owners, all the medium business owners who are looking to grow, who are looking to integrate AI into their systems? What would you like to say to them? What would be their first step right now, right after they end up listening to this podcast? What should they do?
I think there's a couple of things. One is start playing with the tools. People often will hear of these like fancy tools and they don't know where to start. And I say, open up ChatGPT, open up Google's Gemini, open up Microsoft's system Copilot, and just start asking not random questions, but your real business questions. And see how good the answers are oftentimes already. And once you actually start trusting these systems to provide you with these real world guidance, then start thinking about how do you actually connect the pieces a bit more so that the questions you're asking before maybe 2 or 3 people and waiting for answers, you can now get from a single source. You will get that aha moment very quickly. And then you'll understand what's coming next and how exciting is where we are right now. And if you couple this with something you care about and you feel passionate about, you'll start building amazing things quickly.
Wow, I think that's some incredible advice out there. And as we move forward, what's next for Medimap? And we're really excited to know what's your vision like? Where do you see this platform in the next decade? And how do you see it evolving?
I think without a doubt, we'd like to move outside of Canada as well, expand beyond the border, just because we think there is a need worldwide for solutions like this. And there's only really 2 other platforms in the world that are serving a similar purpose. So I think that's exciting for sure. And that's going to be very complex to actually get going.
Right.
But I think also within Canada, there's other healthcare facilities that we're still not touching. Long-term care is a platform or a problem I'm very excited about because, again, the population is aging.
Right.
So to start serving them would be really exciting. Peripheral healthcare services like yoga, Pilates, etc., is something I would like to add to the platform. Mm-hmm. And also, I suppose, healthcare for non-humans. So vets. Right. So that, eventually there will be a point where Medimap will truly be the one platform for everything related to healthcare, no matter what it is. And that really excites me.
Wow, definitely Medimap is definitely going to go global and everyone is going to see how innovative and how much needed it is, right? Because we're just tired of waiting in the ER wait times, and it'll reduce the load not from the doctors but also everyone who's involved in the process. So I think, as you rightly said, it's a win-win situation for everyone. Thank you so much, Thomas, for being here and for gracing us with your presence, and we can't wait for all the listeners to learn from your insights today. Thank you so very much.
Thanks very much for having me here, Kripa.
Thank you. Today's episode highlighted the transformative role of AI in healthcare and how small businesses like Medimap are making a big impact. A special thank you to our guest, Thomas Jankowski, for sharing his expertise, and to our sponsors, RBC, UPS, Constant Contact, IHG Hotels and Resorts, and Google, for their unwavering support. For more stories and insights like this, visit CanadianSME.ca and don't forget to subscribe. Let's keep celebrating small businesses' success. This is Kripa Anand signing off. See you next time and take care.